Hi, Xiumei, how are you?
Good.
Good, sure. Okay. Case presentation for SWK491.
Hi everyone,
Hello! A very good evening to all of you. I'm Chris,
and I'm Xiumei.
and we're here today to do our show and tell. Wait, it's a case presentation, not a show and tell. It might be interesting for some, it might not, but well,
Just there with us.
yeah.
Our client tonight, for the purpose of discussion, is a Chinese male, 63 years of age. He is a divorcee with 2 adult children. He has been incarcerated in a drug rehabilitation center, or DRC, since July 2020 for drug consumption, and his earliest date of release, EDR, is in July 2023. He was emplaced on the Community-Based Program, CBP, in August 2021 under the Day Release Scheme, DRS. His highest education attained is that of primary school level, and his preferred language of engagement is Hokkien. His employment during the CPB is a cleaner in a condominium. Recently, he completed the 12-month case management service provided by our organization and is no longer eligible for such services. Hence, we move to close his case.
In the past 40 years, our client has spent most of them in prison. In the year 1980, he was detained for 6 years under the Criminal Law Temporary Provisions Act for trafficking in drugs. He went in again for a year for DRC-1 on the same year he was released, which was 1986. In 1988, he spent 2 years in prison for DRC-2 until 1990. From 1991 to 1993, he was in for DRC-3. The next year, 1994, sees him once again being detained for DRC-4 until 1997. He managed to stay away from the system for 6 years before being sentenced to 5 years and 3 strokes of the cane in 2003 for LT1. His longest time out of prison was from 2007 to 2015 when he was once again sentenced to 7 years imprisonment for LT2, being released only in 2020. The same year, he was again sent behind bars for DRC-4 with his EDR in 2023. From his incarceration history, we can surmise that he is a hardcore drug addict.
Due to his frequent run-ins with the law because of his addiction to drugs, he has lost all relationships that matter. His parents had passed on, his wife and children have left him, and he is estranged from his only sibling, his elder brother. He does not own any property, nor does he have a home of his own. He is currently residing in Selarang Park Community Supervision Center, or the SPCSC, until his EDR in July 2023.
Brenner believed that a person's development was affected by everything in their surrounding environment. He divided the person's environment into 5 different levels: the micro, meso, exo, macro, and chronosystems. In the context of our client within the period of case management, it can be seen that his peers, be they positive or negative, colleagues, and environmental factors such as his current place of residence are the most influential to his recovery. The exosystem of our client comprises of formal social structures such as social service agencies, or SSA, that extend assistance to him in terms of financial and other support. Informal social structures such as the client's loose network of drug pushers who can readily supply him with drugs can exert a certain degree of influence over him, should he allow them to. Our client's socio-economic status, the culture that he was immersed in prior, and his criminal history comes together to form the macro system which may overall influence his values and beliefs with regards to his long-term rehabilitation and recovery.
From our client's ECOMAP, his primary stressors are his current accommodation and workplace. The probability of contamination is extremely high in SPCSC due to negative peer influence. Our client has also claimed numerous times of discrimination he faced at his workplace. Throughout the year, our client has slipped numerous times. However, he managed to evade detection. At the same time, he has been spending every rest day soliciting sexual services, together with other residents of SPCSC. A befriender was assigned to our client but was unable to make much progress with him. Although there are no links to his family, our client is affected by negative vibes arise from guilty and remorse.
The protective factors of our client assessed by us are: number 1, the fact he's emplaced in the CBP and is undergoing counselling as part of case management. 2. He is willing to work and stay employed throughout the CBP and not choose to abscond or relapse into drug addiction. 3. He is compliant to the rules and restrictions of the program and living in SPCSC. 4. He is open to be assigned a befriender.
That said, his risk factors are: firstly, he has no family support and has no concretized plans as to where he will be living upon his EDR. Secondly, he is unwilling to desist from engaging in risky behaviors. Thirdly, he is not motivated to upgrade or upskill himself, citing his age as a barrier. Fourthly, he is not inclined to succumb to negative influences. Lastly, he believes that substituting prescription drugs for illegal drugs is acceptable, leading to what is known as cross-addiction.
Our process for case management for inmates referred to us by the Singapore Prison Service as stipulated by them is a 12-month-long program with 14 scheduled case sessions. 2 sessions will be conducted pre and placement, where an individualized service plan will be co-created by the case manager with the client on base domains such as the needs assessment, plans for accommodations, and financial planning. The outcome domains comprise of plans for employment or education, family relationships or pro-social support, coping skills, and the cultivation of a positive lifestyle. Progress reports are expected every quarterly with a closure summary on the 12th month of the program.
The program's protocol is loosely based on the biopsychosocial model that looks at the interconnection between biology, psychology, and social environmental factors, and how by optimizing them in a socially responsible way for inmates would help them in their rehabilitation and reintegration journey. In the case of our client, the effects of long-term drug addiction have taken a toll on his physical and mental health. At the same time, being incarcerated for almost 40 years have diminished his ability to cope with the demands of work and societal expectations. It has also adversely affected his self-esteem, as he feels guilty and remorseful over the destruction of family ties due to his addiction.
With reference to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, our client has, in the interim, only managed to meet the first tier, which is his physiological needs. This said, there are no concretized plans for accommodation upon his EDR. As such, his future may be in a predicament, and the probability of drug relapse will be much higher, as he may not be equipped with the skills and resources to create and sustain a persistent impact against the risk of reoffending.
Psychosocial development refers to how a person's individual needs connect with the needs of demands of society. According to Erickson, a person passes through 8 developmental stages that build on each other. At each stage, we face a crisis. Since our client is 63 years of age, it is safe to presume that he will be straddling both stages 7 and 8. In the 7th stage, we begin to establish careers, settle down within a relationship, and start our own families. We give back to society through raising our children, working, and getting involved in community activities and organizations. If these objectives are not achieved, we can be idle and feeling lifeless, as in the case of our client. In stage 8, we have grown older and become senior citizens. We usually slow down our productivity and live life as a retired person. During this time, we start pondering our accomplishments and we develop integrity if we see ourselves as living a successful life. If we see our lives as fruitless, feeling guilty about past situations, or feel that we did not accomplish our life goals, we then become displeased with life and establish anguish, often leading to depression and hopelessness. Again, these symptoms are conspicuous in our client.
For the duration of the case management service period, our client has not absconded from the CBP or got recalled for misconduct. Neither was he issued with a new detention order nor charged in court for new offences. He has successfully completed the 12-month period. Although he did not manage to achieve full attainment of all the domains, it is not a requisite to be discharged from case management. This said, our client is still unstable and has to continue the rest of the CBP until his EDR, without case management.
As we have no choice but to close the case since the client has successfully completed the duration for case management, how do we move forward in assisting the client knowing that there are still unresolved issues upon closure, so that we can help him to mitigate the risk of reoffending We hope to have your input regarding this.
This has been Xiumei.
And this has been Chris.
Check
it out.
Sorry.
So
I thought, yeah.
This has been Xiumei.
And this has been Chris.
Check
it out.
Shit, I keep moving.
This has been Xiumei.
And this has been Chris.
Check it
out.